All right, and welcome to another episode of the True Gamers Chronicles. I am your host, Dreams, and I will be giving you a True Gamers guide about how to play this game. All right, with that said, let's get into it. Okay, so yesterday I did a video about a tier chart for the legendary combat survivors. The purpose of that chart was to show you who's the strongest character on the game. Now, the purpose of this video is pretty much to measure the practicality of these characters and basically give you recommendations on who you should focus on versus who you should not. All right, so starting off with Ezekiel, I've already made a video discussing how great Ezekiel is, but also how not worth it he is. If I had to guess, I would say about 95% of the players in the game will never even have Ezekiel or get him high enough for him to actually contribute to a formation. So let's X him out of there. He's not someone you're going to be focused on or needing. Next up is Yumiko. Yumiko costs probably $400 to $500 in total. And if you're willing to spend that amount of money for her, she's totally worth it. As you can see, if you take Ezekiel off the game, she probably is the best character to have, mainly because of her skills. And she also has the highest base stats all around, 60 in attack, defense, and health. So she is definitely worth it. Magna, definitely worth it as well. The thing with Magna is she comes later on in the game, so it's not someone you can start off with. Kind of throws the chemistry off with her and Yumiko, but where I'm at in season 2, Magna became available probably a week or so before that. So she's worth the wait, but definitely somebody you have to wait later on to get. Then you have Rosita and Abraham. These are ones that you'll get by the luck of the draw of the long range transmission. A true gamer tip here. One rule that I live by on this game is that you're only as good as the hero that you can 5-star. So I probably should have led with that, but typically, whatever hero you can 5-star, that is the one you want to invest your experience points and your medals into. Now, me personally, I don't put anyone at level 100 unless their 4th skill is worth it, or if I just have an abundance of medals, which I do not. So of all the characters that I have, most of them are level 99, and the only ones that I have at level 100 are the ones here in this A tier, aside of Pamela, because I don't have her at 5 stars yet. So again, true gamer tip, only put medals and experience into heroes that you 5-star. And again, the purpose of this tier chart is for you to say, hey, if I have a 5-star Jesus, should I go ahead and invest in him? Or should I wait until I get Glenn to 5 stars and invest into that? Those are the kind of questions you should be able to answer after this video. All right, so moving on. Rosita, Abraham, luck of the draw of your long-range transmission radio. One other tip that I like to do if I am drawing due to the survival challenge to rank high enough to get the 3rd chest, if it doesn't look like I'm getting the heroes I want, I'll just do the bare minimum. But if I draw, if I'm looking for a Rosita and I draw Rosita twice, then I just invest all my radios into that turn. I feel like personally that what heroes you get are cyclical, meaning that there's a period where Rositas drop more than they would another time of day or another day of the week. That's just my personal opinion. I do not have any science to prove that, but that is basically my strategy when it comes to doing long-range radios. Now, Pamela rounds out the end of A tier. She is extremely hard to get, even if you do get her. Again, there's other characters that are better than her, so she's another one that I wouldn't particularly waste time and resources trying to get. To get her, as far as I know, this far into season 2, you have to pretty much rank 1 through 5 on a survival challenge, and playing against 4 other regions in a survival challenge is hard to consistently get like number 1. So even if you did get first place, there's a survival challenge every 4 hours. So that's 6 survival challenges a day. And even if you got first place every time, that's only 30 fragments a day. And you need a total of 1,050 fragments. So just the math there alone, it takes several weeks, even if you did get number 1 every time, which you won't because there's so many people playing survival challenge. Again, it's just not worth it. I think I spent enough breath on that. So now governor will be dependent on how much money you invest in the game. Governor frags can only be won by survival challenges and gold puzzle pieces, basically, that can turn into fragments for a lot of different characters. So I got governor to 4-star, and then I used 450 puzzle pieces basically to get him to 5-star. I did the same with Magna, only I didn't need 450. I think I needed like 300. But when it comes to the gold puzzle pieces that you can use for anybody, Magna for sure, Governor for sure. I basically use a tier chart. If you can use your gold pieces to get anyone in the A tier, use it. If you use it for anyone in the B tier, use it. I would not use gold pieces for anyone in C or D tier unless you have all the characters in A and B tier. So Governor will be dependent again on how much money you're willing to play or invest in the game to win the strongest survivor. He is worth it. He does have the extra troops. He does have good skills. Definitely worth it. Glenn is another one that you would buy, but if I had to choose between spending money on Glenn, who is slightly cheaper than Yumiko, I would say Glenn is maybe $300 to $400, where Yumiko is $400 to $500. I would definitely spend it on Yumiko before Glenn. However, you have access to Glenn considerably earlier than you do with Yumiko. Again, a lot of it is dependent on what you're willing to spend. As you spend money in the game, you get points that goes towards your elite status. The higher your elite status, the more you get to unlock characters like Glenn and Yumiko. So you can unlock Glenn one week and unlock Yumiko the next week because you spent so much and you use your rubies, and that's not a big of a drop off. But if you spent money and your elite level is only high enough to get Glenn, and it's going to take you like a month or 2 to get to Yumiko, then it might be worth it to go ahead and just buy Glenn. All right, so then moving on to Negan and Dwight. Dwight is definitely more accessible than Negan is to a degree. Dwight comes out later in the seasons, and I think you do get access to Negan first. You get access to Negan through being... through having your clan have enough prosperity. 9,000 prosperity points will get you access to Negan. And then depending on how fast you get that, depends on what kind of heads up you'll get on Dwight. Also, not only do you need the 9,000 prosperity points, you also need about 70,000 rubies a week to get 70 fragments for Negan. And you can buy him daily for... using your clan points that you earn individually. He's 500k clan points or 100k per piece or fragment for Negan. So while there's different ways to get Negan before Dwight, they are generally very expensive in terms of rubies or clan points. So they're kind of both a wash. Once you get to the point where Dwight is a long range radio, and you don't have a max Negan, he's definitely worth the investment more. All right, so then maybe the C tier and D tier is where you'll live at as far as characters go. Morgan comes from long range draw. Beta comes through the spinning wheel at first, and then he becomes a long range draw. In my personal opinion, I guess it just depends on what state you are in as far as the game is concerned. If you're constantly at war, then perhaps it's worth it to spend the rubies to get beta. But if you're not the strongest person in your game and you don't have to fight regularly, I would say save your rubies and wait for beta to come out in a long range draw and try your luck there. Lydia is another long range draw you can get. And Michonne is someone you can buy. Now, early in the game, definitely worth it to get Michonne. But if you've gone months and weeks without getting Michonne already, and the game is, if you're probably at like COM 4s and 5s right now or above, you probably don't need to invest in Michonne just yet. You might as well invest in the higher up characters you have access to and invest in Michonne later. Now, D tier, again, these guys are strong based off base stats but don't have good skills, basically. Alpha is someone you can get through long range radios, but you have to spend rubies on her at first. So I would save those rubies for sure and dedicate it to something better. Rick is someone you can get, I think, man, that was such a long time ago. I think Rick is someone you get with the long range radios where you have to spend rubies and then he becomes just part of the long range radios. Shane is another one that you have to spend rubies on a long range radio to get. Jesus comes by the wheel. You spin the wheel to get Jesus, and then he becomes a long range radio. And then the rest of these guys are all long range radio people as well. So I wanted to do a quick explanation of the tier chart. Again, true gamer tip, don't worry about Ezekiel. If someone has them, they put more money in the game than you have. It's okay to take that loss. Don't worry about Pamela. You play the best you can during survival challenges, but if you get her, you get her. If you don't, you don't. Spend money on Yumiko if you have it. Hold out your gold pieces for Magna and Governor. Put as many long-range radios as you can to get Rosita and Abraham. And try your best to max out Negan if you can. If not, put more long ranges into Dwight and go for Glenn if you can't go for Yumiko. Hope that wraps up everything for you guys. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment, subscribe, like, comment. Send me a message. I'm also on Discord. The information is down below. Looking forward to talking to you guys. And thanks for tuning in.